Hello and good morning to all who have logged in from the US, and a very good evening. Namaste, Vanakkam to the participants from India, and Assalamu alaikum to all the Habibis who have joined in from the Middle East. Thank you all for joining in today for the Cricket Social Chat Series, episode number 3, with renowned strength and conditioning coach, Mr. Ramji Srinivasan. On 29th of August 2012, the Government of India decided to celebrate the birthday of hockey legend Major Dhyan Chand as a National Sports Day in his honor. 8 years later, we have the privilege of discussing the topic of functional fitness for cricketers with none other than India's pride in SNC coaching arena, Mr. Ramji Srinivasan. Let me give you a quick warm-up introduction about Ramji. Ramji is one of the leading strength and conditioning coaches in the world who comes with a huge experience and success rate in the field of sports and fitness, especially cricket. He is the first Indian strength and conditioning coach for the Indian cricket team for 4 years. And during that period, he was fortunate enough to be a part of the World Cup winning squad under MS Dhoni and Gary Kirsten. He has also trained Champions Trophy squads and Champions League teams. In the IPL, he was a strength and conditioning coach for Mumbai Indians for 4 years, and he continues to be a part of the Chennai Super Kings as an SNC consultant for the past 2 years. Again, coming back to his another achievement, he was the SNC coach for the MRF Pace Foundation, Chennai for 13 years. Till date, MRF Pace Foundation has produced about 20 international fast bowlers to the likes of Javagal Srinath, Venkatesh Prasad, Zahir Khan, Munaf Patel, Irfan Pathan, and S. Srishant, and several international pace bowlers, including legends like Brett Lee, Shoaib Akhtar, Shane Bond, and Glenn McGrath, have undergone training at the Pace Foundation at some point. He is the first SNC coach to train Formula One driver Naren Karthikeyan and Karun Chandok, and he works very closely with A1 GP Formula and JK Racing team. Again, he is the first Indian SNC coach for the Indian Rally team, and Ramji has been invited many times by the United States Tennis Association to organize fitness camps in the US, and he's also associated with the Krishnan Tennis Center as an SNC coach for the past 4 years. In badminton, he is the SNC consultant for Hatson HPC, and finally, he is the SNC coach for the Indian table tennis team for the past 6 months. On a personal note, I was fortunate enough to work with Ramji when he was the fitness trainer of the Kerala Ranji Trophy squad. He is a thorough professional who knows his jobs pretty well, and he is famous for creating a personal rapport with players and getting the best out of them in the field of play. Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Ramji Srinivasan to this webinar to share his valuable insights to all the participants who have logged in from across the globe. Over to you, Ramji sir.
Hi, hi all. Thank you so much for the invite. It's been a pleasure to be part of Cricket Social, and thank you, Vipin, for this accolades and superlatives. And it's a nice experience, and I'm looking forward in sharing information and knowledge what I know a little bit, because it's a huge world out there, and I like to share whatever little bit I know, and we'll proceed from there. And any questions are welcome. No question is trivial, and I would like to answer that to the best of my knowledge and ability. And let's proceed further from there. To you, Vipin.
Okay, thank you, Ramji sir. So, in your terms, we will start with a small warm up that will be just to get you started. So, how did all start, Ramji sir? Can you just talk us through your initial days as a fitness trainer and your association with cricket? Were you interested in cricket in your childhood?
Okay, it's an interesting journey so far. It's nothing earth shaking, and I don't want to bring in any stories to it. And let's get it straightforward into the system. Uh, yeah, initially I was very fond of cricket as well as the motor racing. Those two are very passionate. As I told earlier, being an Indian, you cannot miss out cricket, and if you miss out cricket, you miss out on loads of things. You know, it's one of the passionate games in the country, and it's very run very professionally. What I initially thought was to I was working in I wanted to become an IPS officer. Then being the only child, and then I got out of that because my father didn't allow me to go anywhere outside Chennai. So I got stuck in Chennai, and somehow I convinced him. I was working as an assistant manager in Kerala rubber estate for some time. Then I came to this fitness field by accident, sheer accident. Being an athlete myself in school days and the initial first year college days, and My events were 100 meters and long jump, and won the junior state championship, and won the junior national school games. In fact, way back in 82 to 84 season. Then I had to give up my athletic career because of my hamstring tear, complete hamstring tear in 1984, my first year in college. That was my end of athletics. So I was happy in it. In one way, looking back, I'm pretty happy. Or else I'll be doing some pen pushing job in one of those government agencies now, and just whiling away the time. Okay, coming to the fitness aspect of it, as I told you earlier, it was sheer accident because I want to do something on my own, and I was more of an outdoor person rather than sitting and doing a desk job, which I was not very keen on, even though the pay was good. So was my forte. So I took up this field by accident. Started a small center in Chennai way back in 93, 94. Then it progressed from there. Initial stages were very difficult because there was no qualification, nothing. I had to be very honest in this. Uh, at this point of time is I didn't have any degree as far as fitness goes, because I did my BSc Physics, MA Sociology for my IPS exams, but I couldn't do anything related to sports science or sports strength and conditioning, because none of which was available in the country at that point of time. Yeah, either you have to go to US or Australia or UK or European countries to do the course, which was very, very expensive also at that point of time. Coming back, then my first stint was with Ramesh Krishnan Tennis Academy. Then he gave me loads and loads of confidence and reassurances what I was doing. I knew that I was in the right path, even though I was doing a lot of trial and error method at that point of time. And then MRF came in, MRF Place Foundation, which was, you know, one of the ultimate places where I worked and where I learned knowledge, where I worked under Dennis Lee. T.A. Shaker was there, one of the best coaches in fast bowling, and rest was history. And looking at my work, they sent me to Australia, and I did started to do my courses there in strength and conditioning and Swiss ball training, Pilates, etc., etc. This was in '98, if I remember right. Then brought in those systems into country at that point of time, bringing Pilates 22 years back to India, and Swiss ball and tubing work, etc., etc. So that's how the journey started. It was an eye opener for me, and learned loads of things, interacting with the Australian strength and conditioning coaches, the professionals from there, the Australian Institute of Sports, Australian Cricket Academy, and the Adelaide Crows, Australian footy rules football teams. So it gave me a wider perspective where I stand in a scale of 1 to 10, and grounded me pretty well. And yeah, that was
Okay.
journey,
That
a short thing. Then we can go on for a couple of
that
minutes more.
that was really interesting. So we've covered about this MRF Pace Foundation and the Australian Connect. So having worked very closely with the big names in cricket, Ramji sir, kindly share your learning curve with the Team India and helping the legends like Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid, MS Dhoni, Saurav Ganguly, VVS Lakshman, Virendra Sehwag, Zahir Khan, and I've got about 100 names more which I don't want to mention because of the time constraint. Can you shed more light? How is like working with the top elite athletes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because my source of inspiration when I took up cricket was Sachin Tendulkar. There is no two ways about it. And I got more and more interested in cricket from '90s onwards, early '90s onwards, because watching Sachin and Sachin. In I would like to put on a lighter note as far as Sachin is concerned on a Star Wars in the movie parlance is I always call him Jedi of world cricket. You know
Uh-huh.
uh, is one of the ultimate as far as I'm concerned, and the millions of Indians are concerned, as far as cricket is
Mhm.
concerned, and inspired huge generation of cricketers to take up cricket and play cricket in a different level. You see Virat Kohli's or current generation of cricketers, or MS Dhoni for that matter. Loads of them follow the trails of Sachin Tendulkar, and it's an amazing journey interacting with the legends of this game, especially when I took over in 2009, being the first Indian trainer. it was loads of butterflies on your stomach to take be in that situation. I've trained them previously when they used to come to Chennai during off season. That time IPL was not there, so they used to come to Chennai during off season from Zahir Khan, Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshmans, and loads of others, and come and train for a month and a half or two, and then continue play the local league cricket. When they come to your domain, you are in a different mode, and when you go into their domain, it's a different ball game altogether. So one have to, you cannot be awe of them. At the same time, you cannot shrug your responsibility, because you have to see them as a player, you have to see them as a professional, and move on from there. And learning curve, of course, nobody can deny it's a massive learning curve to deal with such top class superstars of cricket, including from Sachin to current youngsters like Virat and other youngsters at that point of time. So the huge learning curve from each and everybody. You learn one aspect of their character, one aspect of their mental makeup or a physical makeup. Loads. From Sachin Tendulkar, of course, I don't have to say any accolades or superlatives about Sachin Tendulkar. Everybody knows. So on top of that, he is a phenomenal human being. Very, very important. As far as Rahul Dravid is concerned, some of the quote or caption I would like to put is determination and grit. You know, highly determined, highly hardworking, gritty. As far as VVS Lakshman goes, perseverance is the key, and style. You know, as far as MS Dhoni goes, everybody knows. He is an enigma, and he is highly talented, so natural, so cool, an absolutely salt of the earth human being, and absolutely sharp strategist. I would call him, in some interview, somebody asked me, Kobe Bryant was called Mamba. Kobe Bryant is called Mamba. What do you call MS Dhoni? MS Dhoni is called Ninja. I called him Ninja.
Okay.
All stealth moves. Nobody knows what his next move is. He'll attack you from unknown, what do you call, situations. That's what's happened in so many matches. Even during World Cup, when he came much ahead of Yuvraj Singh and whacked the Sri Lankans, and we won the World Cup for us. And he was one of the key players and winning the World Cup for us. And Viru, of course, he is like phenomenally aggressive, amazing character, fearless. As far as Viru goes, fearless. I asked him once, uh, because I was involved in racing also. I asked him once, when you're going to South Africa, what goes into your mind when you go in opening, when you have faced this sort of phenomenal fast bowlers? He said, Ramji, I don't think about anything. I go there, I play, see the ball and hit. Simple. He kept it very simple, and he played that way also. Amazing character. Again, Gauti is phenomenal and gritty fighter to the core. Zahir Khan, one of the most intelligent fast bowlers in the world, and he knows exactly what he's talking. He knows exactly what he's doing, and the progression what he saw himself is fantastic. Yuvraj Singh, again, rock star, and amazing talent, amazing character, fantastic human being. Uh, 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 More than that, I don't know how to talk about Yuvraj Singh. Then, of
Okay,
course,
Ramji.
there are many
Great.
players, whom you have learned loads of things, and they are very humble in their process. You have to understand one thing: what we see on media is not what we get. When you
Mhm.
see them close by, and how they prepare for the match, how they prepare for during the situations, it's mind blowing. Fantastic to be sharing the dressing room with these legends of the game.
Fantastic insight, Ramji. I have got couple of questions here.
Hmm.
Ramji, when I saw you about 10, 15 years back, you were a fitness trainer. Now you are a sports and conditioning consultant or sports and condition coach. How different
Okay.
is that? And how did the concept of cricket functional fitness? I know you were about 10 years ahead of others, while you said you brought in many things, but we were even known of like Swiss ball, ice bath, and something that we were even never heard of. So please explain these things to the all the attendees and the panelists, please.
uh, it's a nice journey. Actually, end of the day, as a SNC trainer or a call myself a professional, I had to put my head on the block. You know, you cannot go do things by the books. You just cannot follow the book and say, this is what the book says, this is what the research says. Sometimes research papers and research, most of the researches are done for their own people, not for Indians. That's when the thing came in to Pace Foundation. Initially, I used to get the workout from Australia. All the workouts, everything periodized schedule used to come from Australia. I just used to follow that to the T, like nothing more than a dignified PT master, you know,
Okay. Okay.
uh, or a gym personal trainer. So I'm not degrading anybody, but my level was that. When you have to
Mhm.
step up to the next level, you have to challenge, you have to put your head on the block. And that I did in 98, 99. Once I came back from Australia, learned loads of things because our needs are different as far as Indians and the Asians are concerned. The strength and conditioning approach, the way you choose the exercise, the way you choose the diet regime, the way you periodize the what do you call the protocols or training protocols, periodized regimes over a year, or breaking into macro or micro cycles or mesocycles, any of those things. But it has to be very, very specific because to Indians, one of the reason is, not one of the reasons, there are many reasons to it because there are so many variables from genetic loading to food habit to lifestyle to socioeconomic status to the psychology. There are loads of variables. How can one size fit all? Then I designed something like this and told Dennis and T.A. Shekhar sir that, sir, I want to do this. And I got total freedom. Then my job was at stake at that point of time because I didn't produce anything. Then instantly I would have been sacked because it's a professional organization. So
Okay.
since then, there were a lot of stress fractures and lower back injuries. Guys were fit,
Mhm.
but when they are being fit off field and cricket fitness, you have to marry both. You know, that is the
Okay.
beauty of sports fitness. I'm coming to that.
Mhm.
General fitness is okay, good. You start off with general fitness. Then, if you
Mhm.
want to get into sports fitness, you have to understand the movement mechanics, biomechanics, sports science, injury prevention, include loads and loads of other things, loads of physics and science involved. So you have to understand. Since I was a science student, it was easy for me to understand the force, the vectors, the torque, etc., etc., and various movement mechanics, the laws of motion, etc., to put it simply. So it became
Mhm.
easy for me to grasp things and move from there. General fitness, there are three variations. One is general fitness, then is sports fitness, then is combat fitness. So we are not getting into combat fitness, which is in a different ball game altogether. Even in sport fitness, things are quite different because I did multi-sport from motor racing to uh, cricket. You know, there will be a lot of things which you marry from one sport to another.
Mhm.
So you get a complete functional fitness specific to specific game, and
Mhm.
then percolate down to specific skill. I think cricket is so beautiful in that way is because there are five skills. You know, you have a batting, you have a fast bowler, you have a spinner, you have a wicket keeper, and you have an all rounder. It can be a batting ball all rounder or a bowling all rounder. So the needs are totally different, and the energy system is different. The movement mechanics are different.
Mhm.
So one has to tailor make individualized schedule for the skill, at the same time an individual. What works out for Zahir Khan may not work out for Mohammad Shami or Ishan Sharma or Umesh Yadav or Ashish Nehra or Irfan Pathan or Munaf Patel, El Balaji. Everybody is different. We are all like thumb impression. Just cutting paste, copying workouts from one because somebody is successful. Just copying the workout is an appetite for destruction. It's potentially dangerous. I think India, there are a lot of things have been done like that currently. because one man is successful doing one type of exercise, everybody follows like a herd of sheep. I like to call it a herd of sheep because that is reality. I don't want to mince words in this because you have to think. You have to be an intelligent cricketer, intelligent athlete, more than an athlete under the pretext of being very humble and following set of rules what the coaches say. You have to think. A cricketer,
Okay.
an intelligent athlete and an adaptable athlete are the most successful athletes in the world. You cutting
Excellent
across
point.
any sport, you know, cutting across any sport. You name from NBA to NFL to you take any sport around the world. These two factors are very key. Adaptable athlete, both mentally and physically, they have to adapt. An intelligent athlete always keeps asking questions where they stand, why and for what, and exactly they know where they stand in a scale of 1 to 10. If they want to go back to the basics in and out, they do that with ease. We always talk about going back to basics. What is going back to
Okay.
basics? You know, that's a big question.
Okay, Ramji. Let's move on to the next question. Like with the T20 craze gripping all over the world and the unreal amount of the cricket played, why do
Yeah.
you think SNC coaches are essential part of a cricket team? And what is the relevance of this functional fitness in cricket now?
Yeah, functional. I'm coming backward from your question. Functional
Yeah.
fitness has always been pertinent. It has been misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
Functional fitness is not replicating the movement what you're doing for the particular game. You
Okay.
know, what is the difference between you're overloading an athlete, overloading a player, than doing the exercise? It's the functional fitness. What in my terminology is devising something specific in three planes of movement, working on the accelerator, the muscles which accelerates, the muscle with decelerates, the muscle with stabilizes. Working on multi-angle. That is a functional fitness, cutting across any sport. For cricket, even it becomes even more specific because of variability in many skills. Coming back
Mm-hmm.
to T20, T20 just happened 10 years back. Before that, nothing was happening. And as far as fitness goes, I think one day and test match is much more tougher in physiologically than T20. T20 is more of a high-end explosive game and more of a what terminology I like to use is nervous energy dissipation. You know, you don't get tired very fast by bowling only 4 overs or playing only 20 overs. Or fielding for 120 balls or maximum 130 balls. Okay, that is high intensity. Okay, that is mainly because of how much stake is involved. One. Second thing, why it is so it's looked at very in a physiologically and psychologically very demanding is second thing is lack of proper recovery. Okay, injuries can loads of injuries can happen because of lack of recovery, because odd timings you play a match and odd timings you travel from one destination to another. Third one, lack of proper nutrition and hydration. You eat at odd times, you don't set a eating pattern. Some days you have a match in the afternoon or a double header, so everything goes for the six. How do you prevent getting into the best shape during these 2 months is proper recovery protocols, proper set diet patterns, and good hydration protocols and maintenance of fitness. What you have done previously is more than sufficient. And preparation, how do you prepare? You cannot get in 2 weeks or 3 weeks out of the blue when you are playing the match. You cannot get 100% efficiency from 0 or 10% or 20% or 30%. If some trainer is showing you that improvement, he or she is fudging the books. you
Okay.
know
Okay, Ram.
I'm
Okay,
making it
Ramji. And
abundantly clear.
okay, Ramji. And how important is sleep with these new gadgets on the mobile phone, with especially youngsters? It's difficult to put them to sleep. You can put a baby to sleep in 5 minutes, but you cannot put a youngster or a teenager to sleep with these gadgets. What would you recommend them to do?
It's not only for teenagers, it's for everybody. It's a world pandemic, actually, more than COVID.
Okay.
So I think there has to be a moderation in everything. Gadgets are good. It's like a knife with both the edges. It depends on what you use and how you use it, which side you use it. And I think technology can be friend and foe at the same time.
Mhm.
You should be. That's why you need an intelligent athlete.
Okay.
Make a connect, make the dots to be connected, so you'll know.
Okay.
An intelligent athlete will know exactly when to switch it off, when to go to sleep, what to eat, when to do your fitness regime, when to do the recovery protocols, when to go to school, when to do the studies, etc., etc. An intelligent athlete will do that. you know
Okay, Ramji.
so it's individual totally. There is no set rule for anything. you know each
What
and
are your
every individual has
recommendations
to
of
take the
sleep,
responsibility.
Ramji? If I may interrupt, how many hours do you think an athlete who is or a cricketer who is actively playing, how many hours of sleep does he need for this recovery and this injury prevention? And is lack of sleep connected to injuries?
Absolutely, that's what I told you
Yeah.
earlier. Sleep
Okay.
is totally under estimated and misunderstood. That's
Okay.
when your body goes to a complete rest and your circadian rhythm is settled down nicely, and
Okay.
everything is settled down. And repair damage control happens during your sleep. And it is believed an average athlete has to have good sleep, deep sound sleep for 6 to 8 hours. you know
Okay.
Again, it varies from person to person. And traveling athletes, especially athletes, I mean cricketers playing from one place to another, that's what happens in IPL. And a lot of tennis players, motor racers, they have this sleep deprivation. From one week they are in Australia, next week they are in Asia, next week they are in Europe, or again coming back to Asia. It's very taxing mentally and physically. So they take, especially they allocate the time span of their sleep according to the travel, according to where they are going to stay put, and adjust the sleep accordingly. Or some of them take melatonin tablets for them to get over the what do you call jet lag. And
Okay.
sleep again. Good sleep is a must, compulsory must. There is no negotiations on that.
Okay, okay, that's interesting. Moving on, Ramji, what will be your ideal recommendations for fitness, especially for youth, semi-professional and professional cricketers? Because we've got a lot of youngsters who have joined in, and most of them have a habit of emulating, as you previously said, fitness training videos of the superheroes like Virat or Ronaldo training, and they try to copy that straight away. So you have briefly touched about that point. Would you like to brief a little more about
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
with a
yeah.
few examples if you can say so that they can relate to,
There are loads of examples.
please.
I don't want to name anything and get into trouble, right? Especially media now.
Yeah.
I would just graze the tip of the grass field. Of course, one man's food is another man's poison. What suits you may not suit other, or one size doesn't fit all. That's good. See, I think recent in Sports Star 2 weeks. I think last month I written an article about uh, copying, how the athletes are
Play,
copying the
plagiarism.
workout, plagiarism in workout.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I forgot plagiarism in workout. Kindly get a copy if possible and read that. I have endorsed all the points what you're talking about, because end of the day, if I am going to show you a video today and I'm successful in doing it, and I want everybody to follow that, because of my branding is going to increase and my income through branding is going to increase. So I won the battle, not you. You know,
Mhm.
so you have to think. You don't create an action. Don't be a reaction. You know, don't be reactive. Be active.
Mhm.
So copying workout is a big no-no. They are putting there for their own benefit. I know quite a number of people, those who copied certain workouts and got hammered in last couple of years in Indian team.
Mhm.
I don't
Okay.
want to elaborate more than that. And huge amount of injuries happened because of certain copied workouts, or certain people are forced to do certain workout because it was successful for a couple of people, and rest of them got literally hammered. So it is not advisable. Consult a professional strength and conditioning expert and the nutritionist and the physio before embarking on any fitness regime. And before that, you have to do your medical test. Then comes the physio. Then comes the fitness testing, physiological assessment, fitness testing, your nutritionist, and then have a debriefing session with all the staff before drawing up a schedule. It is a long drawn out process in the initial stages, but after that, keep updating your schedule over a period of 3 weeks, because you step up progression after 3 weeks. That's one of the ways. There are many ways to skin a cat. This is one of the easiest ways to follow is 3 week schedule, 1 week recovery, where you do your reassessment and then progress again, step up progression. That will really help people, those who are starting, embarking on fitness, and even getting into a highly specialized or intermediate level. Consult your SNC. Never do copy workouts from YouTube or some star putting their work. It is their workout which made them a star, not yours. Will you eat
Okay,
the
Ramji.
same food what they're eating?
No,
Or
not
for
really.
example, yeah, for example, Sachin Tendulkar is one of the, or Dhoni is one of the biggest cricketing stars. Do any one of the other cricketing playing stars eat what they eat,
No,
or
don't
do
think
what
so.
they do? Yeah, no,
Certainly
no.
not. Excellent
So
point, Ramji. Excellent point. Now, coming back to this, nowadays you find the sports, different kind of sports person, they are getting diagnosed of different kinds of injuries like stress fracture, muscle tears, and many more, which was never heard for the last 2 decades. What guidelines or recommendations would you recommend for players in terms of injury preventions of that sort? And would you think it's the advancement of science and medicine, or it's the lack of basic fitness or overdose of cricket?
again, I address this is a very good point. I address this in one of the articles again about return to play and how you need to build an ecosystem so that everything is taken care of. First of all, as I told you earlier, my earlier answer is proper medical what do you call examination has to be done, from blood test to basic physiology, etc., etc. If you are allergic to something, if you have any medical issues, asthma or low platelet counts, etc., etc., that only medical test can tell you. Then get
Mhm.
into the physiological aspect of it. As a physio, doing your musculoskeletal assessment and your functional movement screenings, your postural assessment, etc. So you get your reading on that. Then shift to your fitness trainer, who tests you, do your fitness testing. Fitness testing again has to be done according to the skill, as far as I'm concerned, because the needs are different for a batter, for a fast bowler, to a spinner, to a keeper, to an all-rounder. As I told you earlier, 5 different variable skills. So you need to address different parameters, what is required, and of course there'll be crossover of couple of tests from one skill to another, and then based on this fitness test, etc., etc., sit down with a nutritionist when you design a program, so that you know exactly he or she what she needs to eat pre-workout, post-workout, during workout, pre-tournament, during tournament, post-tournament, etc., while you are stationed in one place or station or a traveling athlete. That is one aspect of it. Second aspect of it is very critical to injury prevention and cure is workload management. Okay, that is that's a big word now, big buzzword now. Workload management, workload management. You see, the legends of cricket, they spend more time on nets. We talk about muscle memory. That is one thing which helps them spend more time on nets. And this 30 ball, 60 ball, 20 ball in nets, I'm not a big fan of that, because in nowhere you bowl only 20 balls in a match. It's adaptation. Again, adaptable athlete, as I told you earlier, adaptable athlete, adaptation, and smart training. Rather than hard training, smart training is the key to your success. Whether it's you are a beginner or a weekend warrior or a professional athlete, as you progress in the scale, you have to be even more smarter and smarter and more intelligent in being aware of where you are. That is how the top elite athletes perform whenever it's required. In the need of an hour, they perform and consistently over a period of time. Injuries, of course, is part and parcel of any sports person's lifestyle. Again, here the fast bowlers get more injured than the wicket keeper or a batter because of the movements. And we can talk about fast bowling for next 2 hours if needed. So since we are constrained for time, I have to cut short loads of things as far as fast bowling is concerned. And one has to manage it well, and one has to identify where the problem. It has to start with the physio and the niggle. When it's a niggle, you will know. You have to take precautions. Good precaution. You have to get into a prehab mode, or if you're injured, get into a proper rehab mode, and then transfer, return to play. Return to play is also very crucial. Too fast, too soon, too fast, it can be again potentially dangerous. You can end, some of them have ended their career because of this. Some of them are not able to uh, cement their place in the career because of these things. And also one final thing, I remember one of the greatest fast bowler telling, uh, talking about strength and conditioning. I'm a firm believer. Not. It was not a quote by him. This I'll quote. I'll tell you what he quoted. He said, "You asked the same question. Somebody asked him the same question. Why fast bowlers are getting so many injuries now with stress fracture, stress reaction, loads of lower back injuries, or a shin stress fracture, or any joint injuries?" He said, last few years, the fast bowlers regime and discipline has been taken over by strength and conditioning coaches rather than the coaches. You know, that that is a very, very valid point. You know, remember one thing: strength and conditioning coaches, we are part of the support staff. We are part of it. We are not beyond and end all. We should realize that. A dog has to wag the tail. The tail cannot wag the dog. Or goat.
Valid.
Whatever an animal you can pin it down. Another thing which I would like to pinpoint here is, which analogy which I love, that is talking about adaptable and adapted athlete. Example is your zoo tiger and a jungle tiger. You see the difference. Just see the difference between zoo tiger and jungle tiger. Jungle tiger is lean and mean machine. You don't know next where the next food is coming. All the faculties are working, isn't it? You see a tiger in the forest, they look totally menacing and deadly. Any moment it can attack you and finish you off. Whereas the zoo tiger, rolly ploly, very happy, content, because constantly it has been fed and it's in a very happy space. It needn't hunt, it needn't do anything. Look at the body fat percentage, etc., etc. Just make a simple analogy on that. That's how you need to get into a proper mode, screening mode, where you can, up to a point, predict what are the future injuries can happen because of muscle imbalance, what he or she has got, or physiological imbalances from left to right, or anterior to posterior, or one leg shorter or longer than the other leg. You can identify those things and rectify those problems in the initial stages, rather than just going with the flow and let's see what happens. No, yeah, it has become more science. A lot of science has been involved now, and a lot of research has been done. Coming back to research, we have to do a lot of research for Indians, Asian Americans, or the Indians. Nothing has been done. Nothing has been done. Where is the research? Where are the papers? You know, even not only cricket, it's any sport for that matter. Whether it's athletics, whether it's your volleyball or basketball or hockey or any of the thing, you need to have Indian database. Otherwise, it'll be a pipe dream for us to win Olympics or any other sport. Because one of the thing is very good thing in India is now the ecosystem is very well developed by BCCI. We have, that is one thing we started way back in. I would proudly say we started in Base Foundation, devising things for Indians, devising things, work out for Indian ways of looking at things. and build a structure around it. And we were the first to do strength and conditioning for any cricketers in the country. At that point of time, people told me, MRF Pace Foundation, Ramji is going to make everybody like a bodybuilder. You know, they don't know the difference between strength and conditioning and a bodybuilder. Some of the many coaches. Then who had the last laugh now? It has become part and parcel of everybody's lifestyle now, gymming. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's an evolution. It's an evolution over a period of time. But you have to give time. The problem in India is today you do a workout, next day you expect six pack or eight pack or trying to win Olympic gold medal. No chance. There
That's
has to
true,
be a
Ramji.
long-term athletic development, which is pertinent to India again. You cannot copy what is
Mhm.
there in America or Europe or Australia or South Africa. It has to be Indianized. And I'm pretty happy. Loads and loads of Indians, those who have done their education in US, masters in US. I know quite a number of professionals. Those who have come back to India, they want to give it back to the society, and they want to give it back to cricket, and they want to give it back to other sport. I'm very happy these youngsters are coming and uh, you know wanting to give it back. I think we have to involve those sort of people, those who are passionate about in getting into cricket.
Great, great insights, Ramji. We will move on to a few questions from a couple of youngsters here. The
Ah,
question is, how early is too early with regards to fitness training in training for youth cricketers? Youth, I think, let's take under 19.
hmm. There is no everything is earlier you start is better because till the age of 14, 15, your neuromuscular coordination, muscle memory, all those faculties for you to learn becomes much easier, isn't it? That's when you
Mhm.
learn the skill. That once your fitness has to support the skill. That's why I told
Mhm.
you fitness and skill. Fitness is a dog, skill is a tail.
Mhm.
Now you
Okay.
make the make the connect. Skill set is very very important in learning in the initial stages. At the same time, the fitness has to feed the skill. For example, somebody is going to bat or bowl for 2 hours, a kid, is he or she is getting tired. Fitness can help the kid to bowl 4 hours or 3 hours extra, that extra bit edge. So you have to be you can embark on fitness from the age of 8 onwards. In sports dynamics, we have kids those who are 10 and they are grown to 16 now. These
Okay.
guys are junior champs in the country. you know
Mhm.
we have to devise it. There is any age is good age as far as the mindset is okay.
Uh,
So
the- Ramji, can you please specify when you say an 8-year-old has started fitness, what are the activities that a kid does?
okay.
Because fitness is always related to being running and gymming. So, can you please be specific on what are the things that they should do? Because
Loads of things can be done. Loads of things. Fitness can be made fun as a fun filled activities, and your fitness in relation to your skill. That is where the intelligence comes up with a strength and conditioning expert to devise a program where your all the neural faculties are pathways very well laid in working out on skill set. For example, your hand-eye coordination drills. There are loads and loads of drills. There are from phenomenal equipments like Dynavision or a React slides and other things where you can make it fun at the same time very interesting, and it also gives you empirical data.
okay.
This is one of the examples. Dynavision and React slide we use a lot for developing your neuromuscular coordination, reaction time, peripheral awareness, depending on the sport. Develop those faculty first because those things are very much required for a skill set. You know,
Okay.
then work on their basic strength, basic movements, basic balance and stability is a key.
Using your body
People
weight.
using the body weight, not the strength aspect of it. Your balance and stability is a key, is a foundation for any sport. You cutting
Okay.
across any sport in the world. If you don't have good balance and stability and maintain your center of gravity, if you're able to control that, then you have won at least 50 to 60% of the battle. It is not a strength alone. Strength is one component of fitness. And even in strength, you branch out into a huge component. And which do you choose? You have
Okay.
reactive strength, you have isometric strength, eccentric strength, concentric strength, loads of it. How do you choose? So at end of the day, your fitness has to be supplementing your skill set in the initial stages of growth, you know, and developing those faculties like reaction time, hand-eye coordination, balance, stability, flexibility, breathing patterns. A lot of things can be developed in tandem with the skill and incorporating Paka fitness regime into that. It's not
Excellent
difficult. And
insights. Excellent insights, Ramji. Moving on to a simple but very effective question. One of the attendees have asked me, how important is warm up before cricketing activities?
there are
What is the importance of warm up?
the warm up can be one of the most boring things. Oh, seriously? Okay, coming back to it. Okay, warm up is as important as warm down or cool down, whatever you say. Okay, both are very important in increasing the range of movement, increasing the muscle temperature of the core muscle temperature, prevention of injuries, bringing focus into the system, focusing on to what your target is going to be, etc. Also building a team. There are so many benefits. It's a no-brainer to how important is warm up or warm down. But what warm up or warm down is important is a big question. You know,
Okay.
Depending on again sport, you see a soccer player doing a different warm up than a cricketer. You know,
Mhm.
or you see an NBA guys. You're in US or Europe or UAE, anywhere. You see an NBA guy or a soccer player, totally different warm up module than a cricketer. And cricket, what I believe in personally, I've divided before World Cup 2011. I segregated warm up into two groups. One for the batters and keepers, one for the bowlers, whether it's spinner or a fast bowler. This was we did it and started to do it in Sri Lanka, much ahead of World Cup. And one of the reasons is the needs are different. The energy system for a batter or a bowler is different, and the muscles used and the mechanics, movement mechanics are different. So you cannot do the same warm up for a batter and a bowler. That is my take on it. That is 100% my take on it. I have worked on it. I have seen quite a good success rate. You can improvise. Each and every trainer is different. You can take this basic thing and improvise on it. You don't have to follow a set regime like copying the workout. Everybody is now the trainers, SNC are much smarter than what we were in the initial stages. You have to have a different module for a bowler and a batter. That's my take, and not make it too pedantic and boring. No, it can be very boring. The same bloody thing every day, morning and evening, jumping over the hurdle, small hurdle, big hurdle, running up and down. Keep changing the stretches. Keep changing the dynamic stretches according to the day when you are going to bat or when you are going to field. No point getting warmed up thoroughly and going inside the dressing room and sitting.
Really happy to see you, sir. You're still 10 years ahead.
No. There are a lot of people, those who think that way, Vipin. They don't know how to bring it into the system because the system doesn't allow you to do that.
Yeah,
That's why
true,
I'm
sir.
telling you have to put your head on the block.
Okay, sir.
It's okay.
So
It's
what?
one lifetime.
True, sir. Yeah, please go. Please go on, sir.
That's what. You don't have to please anybody. As long as you're able to produce result and you're not, there are no injuries and it
Okay.
works for the team in
You
victory.
can do it.
What else you need? What else
Excellent.
anybody? Who else? What else? You don't want a sports scientist sitting in a lab and telling you, "Oh, this is not the way to do it." No, please. You sit down in the lab and do your research there.
Mhm.
On field is a different ball game.
Okay.
Each and every team, whether it's Australia or England or South Africa or Sri Lanka, West Indies, they have their different warm up and different ways of doing things. Why
Okay.
should we copy even the warm up from Australians and other countries?
That's
We
true,
have to
sir.
devise something for Indians,
Hmm.
our own subcontinent. And for example, when you even just one point I'll add on, you see Indian subcontinent fast bowlers. You see the Sri Lankan fast bowlers versus Indian fast bowlers. They physiologically, you guys have played.
Mhm.
See the difference in physiology. Massively built, the Sri Lankans are. Basically, big built and low level of flexibility. Here it's opposite.
Yeah,
And India, you see the difference between north of India to south of India, east to west. Physiologically, see the difference. Then how do you devise everything same for everybody? It doesn't augur
that's true,
well.
sir. We've got a very interesting question from a kid. He
Hmm.
says, "What are the approaches should one take when playing one more than one sport at a young age? Because nowadays, you've got badminton going on, we've got karate, we've got cricket, we've got football, kabaddi, and the kid is running around the block every time. So, what do you recommend for such kids who are always on the move?"
Fantastic. I'm a hardcore believer in playing two sport in the initial stages because there is a huge crossover connect, you know, between a couple of sport. Most of the
Mhm.
Western countries encourage you to play two sport rather than specializing on one. It can be potentially dangerous if you specialize on one. Everybody cannot be Sachin Tendulkar. Please understand that very clearly. So playing multi-sport in the initial stages develop other faculties of fitness. And then when you specialize on cricket, for example, John T. Rhodes or AB de Villiers, you say current AB de Villiers, two sport, you know, or John T.
Mhm.
Rhodes, he was representing South Africa in hockey. Then he came to cricket. He was literally flying all over the field, man.
Mhm.
You know, kids should play multi-sport for overall development and choose a sport which is right. Again again I'm telling you, kiddo, choose a sport where there is going to be a transfer, positive transfer. There are three types of transfer happening from one sport to another. One is positive transfer, one is negative transfer, one is neutral transfer, zero transfer. Choose a sport which, for example, you are a batter. Choose a sport where it is going to enhance your batting skills, like your footwork, hand-eye coordination. Something like a table tennis or a shuttle. Gavaskar used to play amazing shuttle. Sachin plays amazing table tennis. Zahir Khan. Rahul Dravid plays an amazing shuttle game. See how smart they are able to choose a sport. Similarly, as a fast bowler, do something. Choose. Don't get into contact sport. Especially cricket is not a contact sport. You can get into other sports, something like hockey or something like uh, I don't know. There may be so many other sport which is tennis. You can take up tennis.
Table tennis is famous with cricketers also, I think.
Yeah,
Table tennis.
because table tennis is very famous. A lot of these guys play a phenomenal game, and a couple of guys have played with Sharat Kamal also. Sharat Kamal
Oh,
trains with us. Sharat Kamal and Satyan, both of them, world number 24 and 25. They train, and the way they move, and I've been with them during the World Championship. It's insane movements. I was just watching. I couldn't, because the points were getting over in a jiffy, because I couldn't sight the ball itself. Guys are moving here and there. Game over. Over. So batters can choose table tennis or a shuttle. Fast bowlers can choose bit of more running type of activity. Okay. It has to be positive transfer.
what
Negative
about
transfer
martial
can be
arts, Ramji? Sorry, what about martial arts? Does that help you in any way?
martial arts to an extent helps, definitely helps, because
Mhm.
Justin Langer was a hardcore black belt in karate. You
Oh,
know, it gives you loads of stability, as I told you, balance, breathing control, and focus and concentration. As I
excellent.
told you, one kid's food is another kid's junk.
Poison. Okay, okay. We've got one interesting question from an amateur cricketer. He
Yeah,
says, "Is there an age when people should stop playing cricket, especially in the amateur level? If they continue to play after 50 or 55, will there be any chance of getting any irrecoverable damages?" What would
I
you
don't,
say?
I don't know. You have to be smart. Yeah. You see, recently the Kedar Tambe, he's playing. He's 48 years old. He's playing Caribbean Premier League. What do you have to say for that? And Sachin played till he was 40.
Mhm.
Age is just in your mind. If you're
Okay.
fit, if you are able to, all faculties are working, you can go on. It's not a physically demanding sport like NBA, or even tennis. People play tennis, isn't it? Older people play tennis, whether it's recreational cricket or I mean tennis or whatever it is. They play tennis. People those who are 60 and 70, they play cricket. You can
Okay.
still play. Can still play. There's nothing wrong as far as you think and feel young and you're fit enough to handle the situation. And you can,
So,
if you can fit in the team,
okay. So according
they
to
don't
age is
make you
just
a
a number.
manager. I don't hope they don't make you a manager.
Okay, and one more interesting thing, Ramji, I've got a thing about
Yeah.
swimming. Is swimming a flexibility exercise, or is a strengthening, or a mixture of both? And what would you recommend cricketers to swim as a part of the recovery, as a part of the strengthening?
I would. There are two, three ways of looking at using a swimming pool. One is first one is working on your skill set. You know why I'm telling you this? You can take a cue. You can take a leaf out of certain excellent world-renowned sports person and adapt it to your own thing. Pete Sampras used to train underwater. This is forehand and backhand till neck deep water. Look at the way he developed the muscle without any injuries. Okay, that is one way of doing it. You can improvise, you can create your own regime, you know. Second one, it can be used for recovery, your swimming pool, your recovery, active recovery protocols. Third one, you can develop your shoulders and core muscles, just a basic one, basic level of fitness, because your water fitness is different from land fitness, you know, and the workout schedules are different, and the mode of transfer is different. So instead of going for a freestyle where most of them get a rotator cuff injury, most of the freestyle swimmers, you can go for backstroke, you know, where there is less strain on your shoulders, or gives you a good level of stability workout to work your core and your glutes, so that you can make some connect to that. And it also works in the anti-rotational movements, you know, basically in opposite side movements. So you have rotational training and you have a anti-rotational training. So
Okay.
you need to work on, you need to be smart in choosing which stroke you are going for in swimming, especially when you're going, whether you're going for your recovery protocol, or you're going to learn a new skill, or
Okay.
you're going to develop your skills. So for example, batting underwater, why not
Okay.
try it out? There is nothing, there
Okay.
is no harm. It is not going to
Correct.
harm you anyway.
So basically, there is no one size fits all. You have to explore a lot of things to try out new things.
End of the day, Vipin,
Yes.
uh, fitness is more of an art than science.
Okay.
You know, science stops beyond certain point. Art doesn't
Mm.
stop.
Okay.
So it is more of an art. How you design a program is an art. How you explain a choice of exercise, what you choose is an art. How you devise a new exercise regime is an art. Beyond certain points, science cannot explain. A science, for example, this is again one analogy I would like to give to a lot of people cutting across any sport is the Jedi of world sport, Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. Because when he had a back injury, remember, Vipin, you must have been playing your Ranji Trophy or in your Kerala side, or Sunil Vishwanathan must have been in the Ranji Trophy side at that point of time, 99 2000. He had a
Yeah.
back injury, remember,
Yes.
during
Yes, I do.
India Pakistan. This
Mm-hmm.
is one prime example how he broke the shackles of sports, so-called pundits of sports science.
Mm-hmm.
They all, everybody, he couldn't move. His back was jammed, and everybody, you know, at that point of time, instantly they go to a strength and conditioning guy or a sports scientist or sports physiotherapist, etc. Everybody, you know what all they gave? What all, you go and check out what they said about Sachin Tendulkar. He cannot play again. His bat is too heavy, you know, because of the
Mm-hmm.
loads of momentum is created, loads of work on the, because of the torque created on your spine, it is directly impacting his spine, so that he has to take a lesser weighted bat, all sort of things. Otherwise, he is not going to play.
Okay.
Within 1 year, he came back.
He came back.
And we were discussing about it. Sachin and me, Ramji, I have injuries from head to toe. Every joint he has got injuries. And every level he defied people, defied sports science. That's why I'm telling you, sports science, fitness is more of an art than science. Science stops beyond that point. It cannot explain everything what a human body can do. You know, there are certain
Taking that
people.
into cue, Ramji, can I just stop you and ask you one question? What is the learning? How do you like? How can one start to listen to the body? You said when you have a niggle, you should be cautious that the body is trying to tell you something. What? How does one master the art, or at least learn the art of listening to your own body?
If I know the mantra, I'll become a multi-billionaire.
Okay.
So each to his or her own.
Okay.
Your own intelligence, your own adaptation, your own what do you call communication. To
Mm-hmm.
your professional staff. How do you communicate? What do you communicate? What sort of, and their response to your needs, and whether
Mm-hmm.
they are monitoring you at the right time at the right place when there's a niggle, and not to flare up on a later stage when it becomes a serious injury. It all
Okay.
depends on loads of the support staff, and they should be able to make you understand, boss, here where the buck ends. you know Stop
Okay.
here, and then progression is slow, or don't do anything, or do something more. It's again, it's an individual, very individual thing. You cannot put a quote within a quote and say that this is the way it has to be done. Nowhere.
Okay. Okay.
Nowhere. It is purely
Your
individual.
call. It's your call.
It's your call.
Yeah.
Some days,
Yeah.
see, for example, some days when you wake up with a happy frame of mind. Some
Yeah.
days you get up from the wrong side of a bed, you're in a very cussed mood. You don't know for what reason,
Mhm. Okay.
isn't it?
Okay.
You have to understand. You have to understand each and every. It is not easy for the kids to understand. It's for the
Mm-hmm.
parents to transfer that to the kids. It's
Okay.
okay. It's some days you will do well, some days you won't do well. It's okay.
Okay. Okay.
So,
One more question.
as
Talking about parents. Sorry. Talking about parents. One parent had asked me, how different do you turn a girl child and a boy child, or a man or a woman? What is the basic difference that you feel, and how do you change their training methodologies?
fantastic question. Yeah, I love this question. There are ways of because some of the anatomically, the girl is different because of the pelvic bone and the Q angle. One of the major reasons, and the muscle structure. They are not more muscular than the men, and the amount of force generated by a woman maybe slightly less than a man. So a choice of exercise has to be very clear, and the movement mechanics has to be very clearly understood. A girl child, for example, a girl child doing a depth jump or squat jump, or a squat even, would mechanically will be slightly different from a man. That's given.
Mhm.
How do you adapt that? How do you adapt that movement? Some cannot. There is no correct way of doing a squat because of individual leverages. Some some of them not able to do the squat to the full level, or quarter level, or half level, because of so many variables in their body, their physiological structure. One has to design. That's why screening becomes very, very critical. When they do the screening, you will know the differences, you will know the discrepancies and muscle imbalance, or structural imbalances. Then that gives you a very good idea about, okay, this girl child is got superb proportional. All these joints are very nicely. I think the range of movement is good. There is no restrictions, etc. Then you can progress to one level. And choice of exercise, some of the choice of exercise maybe slightly vary, but I won't say they are any different from men. As far as they are doing clean and jerks and slats to everything nowadays.
Okay.
In fact, from my personal experience, the girl, when she concentrates, we have quite a number of girl child in the center, quite a number
Mhm.
of them. The ability for them to focus on zero in on something is marvelous. If they are like
Amazing.
monitor lizard. you know
Amazing.
They catch hold of something, their grasping capacity is unbelievable, and physiologically, because that is physiological, we cannot do anything about it. Their fourth generation may not be as equal to men, but they are second to none. They are second to none.
Mhm.
And talent wise, or the pain threshold for women, they have more pain threshold than men. It's been validated and proven on many levels. And the ability to focus, zero in on something and focus is marvelous. We all have to learn.
Excellent insight, Ramji. I think the time is just over 1 hour, so we will move
Oh
on to
dear.
our cool down. That's just for me. So it's a vote of thanks. I'm really impressed by Ramji sir as your insights as always, and I hope all the cricketers and parents who have joined us today might have felt the same. This was a fantastic webinar about highlighting the importance of functional fitness in cricket, which has really opened a thing or two in my mind, and I hope that's the same with all the participants. I would personally like to hear from all the participants about your experience about this webinar. Please email us your valuable feedbacks and questions on info@cricketsocial.com. For more insights, updates about future chat series episodes, please follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Before I sign off, I would like to wish everyone and family to stay healthy, stay fit, and stay safe. See you all
Yeah.
shortly in the next chat series episode number 4. And we appreciate your time and undivided attention. Thank you. Thank you, Ramji sir.
Thank you so much. And if you want any, we do a lot of online sports dynamics, online sessions. If you want, just click on to sportsdynamics.in is our website. You can have loads of information, and feel free to contact us anytime for any information or any help from our side. Thank you, Vipin. Thank you, Cricket Social and Sunil, for having me here. It's a pleasure. I hope I answered all the questions, whatever has been placed in front of me, and wish you all the best and stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, and good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Good luck. Good
Good
luck.
luck.
Thank you.